Now, I know it's been a few years since you've been out in the Dutch Harbor, so I have some visual aids here to help you while you're sitting in your nice warm room, drinking
Hello,
your
Andy.
latte, and reading your scripts.
Just sitting here.
Let's start with the Cape Caution. You said it's 169 feet.
I did
It's
say
actually
that.
169 gross tons.
I did, you're right.
And,
You're right.
It's probably about 108 feet, but who's counting?
I'll tell you who's counting. You're counting, and I don't blame you. In fact, I want to thank you. My last video in response to your last tweet was peppered, unfortunately, with some numerical inaccuracy, and I feel terrible about it. It's true, the Cape Caution is 108 feet. It's 169 gross tons. No excuse, really, for juxtaposing those two things. I know that the Time Bandit, for instance, is 113 feet and something like 298 gross tons. Aft wheelhouse, you got the 28-foot beam running straight across the thing. Look, point is, I got a lot going on up here. There are like 7 boats on the show this year, and the crew members, and everybody's got a different length, right? And everybody's got a different gross tonnage, and I work for a network who is obsessed with numbers. I mean, the Discovery Channel, Andy, is obsessed with the length of your boat, the weight of your boat, and how far your boat is at any given moment, not just from Dutch Harbor, but from whatever other boats happen to be around it. So, again, I don't want this to sound like an excuse, but if you put yourself in my place, you got 7 different things moving around out there all of the time, constantly changing the length or total distance they are from one another, and everybody is just very, 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 very focused, very pedantic, if you will, on making sure those numbers are right, and occasionally a couple are going to slip through. And it's not just because there are 7 boats up there this season, or 6 or 8 or whatever the real number is. Let me show you what I did, because I really do. Again, I don't want to make excuses, but I'm going to. Because, look, this show's been on the air 9 years, and I just was thinking about all the different boats that have come and gone on the show, and I jotted them down up here, everything from the Arctic Dawn all the way down to the Western Viking. I circled the ones on the show this year: Northwestern Rambler Rose, Kiskasee, Kodiak, Seabrook, Time Bandit, and a Wizard. But if you take a look at all of them, and you realize that all of that crap is just jammed into my head, you know, I can't get rid of it. And so every boat, with its length and its corresponding gross tonnage and its ever-varying distance, not just from its home port, but from Dutch Harbor and all those other vessels surrounding it, it does create a certain potentiality for confusion, if you see what I'm saying. But it gets even crazier. You pointed out, again, rightly on your video, that I got some names wrong. I actually juxtaposed the name of a Josh and a Jake. You know, these are guys I know. They're friends of mine. There's no excuse for it. It's just that, damn, man, it's like there are a lot of people up there. You know, each one of those boats back there, call it 5 people, right? 1 captain, 4 crew members. Some have more, some have less, but I think that's a fair estimate. If you were to say there are 5 people on a boat and multiply the 30 boats up there, you'd be looking at 150 different people over the course of 9 years. It's a lot of people to keep straight, but here's the thing, man. It's not just 150 people all in one spot. It's 150 people who come and go, not unlike the boats themselves. And so what winds up happening is it becomes a sort of soap opera. You know, in my head, I don't see the Northwestern so much. I see As the World Turns. I don't just see the Time Bandit. It's like the guiding light. I don't just see the Wizard. I see Peyton Place. You might not remember that. It was an old soap opera. The point is, you guys, you're trading ships. You're coming and going. This one goes there. This one comes over here. It's like a 1975 key party. You remember what those were, don't you? So the point is, there's a lot of personnel. They're constantly trading places. There are a lot of boats that are constantly moving around. The Discovery Channel is constantly calling, saying, how far are we from Dutch Harbor? Which, by the way, I can show you right here down in San Francisco. We're 2,350 miles ATCF as the crow flies. That's 4,084 miles as the captain drives, ATCD. It's a lot to keep straight, and while, again, I don't want to sound like a guy who's making excuses, I do feel compelled to point out that, while I do make mistakes from time to time, if you were to evaluate me over 9 years and take into consideration the ever-changing numerical Rubik's Cube that this show is, juxtaposed with the constant comings and goings of all the various people on all the various boats, I think you'd have me in the high 90s vis-a-vis what you call a hit ratio. Now, if I could...
Dutch Harbor, buddy. See you later.
I just want to zoom forward to the back of your
Mad
video.
about you not knowing shit.
It's my favorite part.
I said that on Twitter. Because I know you crawled in the shit for 10 years on Dirtiest Job.
On Dirtiest Job. See, Andy, look, not being a pedantic person, it pains me to point this out, but I simply have to say that on Dirty Jobs, there are basically two things to remember if you're going to reference the show. The actual name of the show was Dirty Jobs with Mike Rowe. So you got Mike Rowe, that's the one thing. The other thing is Dirty Jobs. See, there was only one recurring character on Dirty Job. It was me, week after week after week. There I am again, but the title of the show is the only other thing to remember, and look, man, it's not Dirtiest Jobs. I don't know why. It's Deadliest Catch, right? It's not Dirtiest Jobs. It's just Dirty Jobs. It's super simple. I don't mind you getting the name of the show wrong. It doesn't bother me at all. It really doesn't bother me at all. I think it's endearing. It's just that you have two things to remember, and you got 50% of them wrong, and I got, well, like 1,000. Just saying. Miss you, buddy. Say hey to your brother for me and anybody else up there who still likes me. I'm just going to watch this video a few more times because, I don't know, it's inspiring. I like the way you own it. You own it.
Captain Andy here.
Look at that.
Heard just some scuttlebutt going on the internet about some
there it
comments I may or may not have said about you on Twitter.
Right.
So I'm here to set the record straight.
Have yourself a great day, buddy. Talk soon.
I had no idea
Oh, that's
that
good.
you were going to find out about it.
Yeah, but I did.
So hashtag my bad.